All right, welcome in. It is a Thursday night. I am delirious. I've been up since 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. I watched three NBA games tonight. In the past 6 hours, I haven't moved. I feel like a vegetable, but we're going to get all my thoughts out before we end the night tonight. My name is Rich. I'm the host of the Shotcallers podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you could join us live, even better, leave a comment in the stream chat and we're going to reply to them as we can. Before I say all these words, without introducing my co-host Kyle, how you doing tonight, Kyle?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm not as sleepy as you, but uh, I had a tough time, keeping up with all the games like in
Yeah,
real time and
I was
jumping
looking
back and
like
forth.
that guy in Mr. Deeds, looking
Yeah,
cross-eyed. I got a game
yeah,
over here, game over here. It's dark in your room, Kyle. It's real
yeah,
podcast hours, so you know it's
yeah.
late at night right now.
Yeah,
Real podcast hours. We'll
real
we'll, we'll,
podcast hours.
we'll name the chat that one. Or we'll name the episode that one. We're missing Robin. Hopefully he can join us partway through if he gets done with this work presentation.
Mhm.
Work life balance is taking a toll on him
Yeah.
right now. He's starting his new career, so happy
Uh,
for him. Oh, what were you saying?
I wonder how he was in college. I'm pretty sure he was the exact same way, working on stuff last minute.
Yeah, probably so. Probably
And
so.
nothing's changed.
All right. So, Kyle. What do the people need to know before we talk about this triple header?
Where they can find us on podcasts and on social media. On social media, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Shot Caller Show. Right there on the screen makes it a lot easier for me. Uh, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Go ahead and leave a comment. Do whatever. We love it all.
And what about podcast form, Kyle?
And then for our podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, obviously. You can find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever that is. No disrespect, but I don't know what that is.
We
Uh,
value all of our Stitcher
yeah,
listeners.
yeah.
There's actually like 10 of them.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
I need you to stop disrespecting
okay.
over here.
My fault for the disrespect. My apologies. Uh,
And Pocket Casts.
and Pocket Casts and everywhere else you can find podcasts. Virtually everywhere else.
Yeah, I got them right here. So
There
if
you go.
you weren't
Anchor,
sure, you can read
Breaker,
them right there.
Stitcher, Breaker. I think you have Breaker on. Yeah, you have Breaker on there too.
That's how you know it's late at night. And Pocket Cast is supposed to have a space in it. So I apologize. Before we started the show, I was tearing up from sleepiness. But anyway, so we had a triple header, as I mentioned. The Miami Heat were trounced. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
Trounced
yeah.
by the Milwaukee Bucks. We had two
It's
more compelling matchups afterwards, both at the same time. Like, what is up with the
yeah,
scheduling? Can we space
I
this
know.
out? I don't care if the NBA season goes into July, but obviously the NBA does because they're trying to get back on track with the Olympic schedule and get out of the way of the NFL. So they're kind of fast tracking us through this first round, kind of like they fast tracked us through this season. So I mentioned the games that matched up. The more entertaining ones will stay for the end. Miami, Milwaukee. What is your biggest takeaway, Kyle?
I don't know. Miami's just like really like tilting me. I mean, but honestly, I have to give a lot of credit to the Milwaukee Bucks. Like they've massively improved. Uh, like mentality wise, like their defense has improved, their offense has improved. Like they're not getting just hit with the wall with Giannis, and then Giannis isn't able to create anything. Like they've definitely diversified their offense. Drew Holiday has helped with that, and these guys off the bench, Pat Connaughton, he's been hitting threes. I feel like that's probably one of the things too that they've been missing, like role players hitting threes for Milwaukee. It, it hasn't really been, or it hasn't helped them in previous series, but they've gotten it to show up this series, which is really important, especially going forward. Because they're probably gonna. I mean, th- they've gone up 3-0 or 3-0 over Miami. They're
It's
probably
guaranteed that they're going to
yeah,
advance.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah, yeah. And then Brooklyn Celtics. We all know how that's gonna go too. So they're gonna face Brooklyn in the next round. So they look a lot stronger than I thought they were gonna look. Before the series started or before the playoffs started, I even though Milwaukee is the third seed, I feel that they have improved since the times that they were just or they were a first seed.
Mhm.
So I feel like this is a really good sign going into this next round.
You're right, and I wasn't forecasting forward, but the way that they are defending, the way that Brook Lopez looks, it seems like he just has a never-ending fountain of youth. Like he's so versatile in so many different ways, able to move his feet, keep up with guys like Duncan Robinson on the perimeter, which I noticed today in the third quarter.
You're
Um,
you're saying Drew Holiday has it's hit the fountain of youth? I'm
no,
like
no,
he's
no.
at,
I
oh
think I said Brook Lopez. I meant to say Brook
oh
Lopez.
yeah,
I'm
okay,
sorry,
okay.
guys.
Yeah.
Please cut me some slack. Brook Lopez found the fun of youth, sliding his feet, getting really huge with verticality in the lane, contesting at the basket, and showing his entire skill set on the floor with post ups, laying it around the rim, and shooting the three, which we know he stretched out to 2 seasons ago and 1 season ago as well. So projecting forward, if the Bucks can have this sort of tenacity and even keeledness going into the next round, they're definitely going to need it against a fire hose of shots that the
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets can put up. That's for sure.
Mhm.
And I like that you went straight to the Bucks as they did do the trouncing.
Mhm.
As much fun as the Miami Heat were to watch last season during their finals run, as much fun as Jimmy Butler has been throughout his entire career to watch from Chicago putting up 40 points in one half or 38 points in one half and 2 points in the other one. Uh, to the Timberwolves, trashing the starters with the team of third stringers, causing all the controversy, doing interviews with Rachel Nichols right after practice, going to Philadelphia, almost getting the better of the eventual champions with the Raptors, and now in Miami. As much fun as these guys are to watch, Eric Spoelstra, Tyler Hero, sneering in the finals run, but not sneering tonight or in this playoff series as great as it is, and how cool their jerseys look, those guys looked dog tired, disinterested. It looked like you, not yeah, I guess you as well, Kyle, at the end of a long shift.
Mhm.
But it looked like myself at the end of a long shift where you're just trying to go home. They were home in front of their home
Yeah.
crowd. Props to that Miami crowd. We have
Yeah.
seen in 2013 when those white hot fans leave in the finals when it's looking like they're going to be out of it, and then Ray Allen puts them back in contention with the three and sets it to overtime, and those fans that have just left early try to get
Mhm.
back in the game.
Yeah.
These guys were down 20 points at a lot of times, and just 1 3 going in from Duncan Robinson
Yep.
or Tyler Hero, you'd hear loud cheers from the people that didn't leave. So
Mhm.
the fans wanted them to get some effort. Jimmy Butler was doing his very best. He was the only guy that shot efficiently for the entire team. There were times where he had 16 points and the entire Miami team had 17.
Mhm.
Bam Adebayo took forever to be aggressive, even though he had a couple shots early, kind of going towards the rim and laying it in for two. Who went long stretches in the second and third quarter, not even looking at the basket until it got to the fourth quarter when
Yeah.
he got a putback dunk or two. Jimmy Butler ended the game 7 for 17. Not as nice as it was during stretches in the middle, but he was cutting to the rim, getting putbacks, kind of driving the offense, but passing the ball, and I could just see it in his eyes, longing for Bam to take it to the rim with force. There was a time he got an and one, and Jimmy Butler didn't even get excited at the play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like it looked to me as though Jimmy Butler was looking at his team saying, show me the fight," which was frustrating.
Mhm.
Eric Spoelstra was egging the team on to make smart plays, get back on defense. There was a time where Jimmy Butler got all the way to the rim and scored over Brook Lopez. Jimmy hits the ground because it was a contested layup. Brook Lopez makes it all the way back up to the rim and catches it underneath the rim and dunks it. Nobody got Jimmy's back and stopped Brook Lopez getting all the way underneath the cup. And Jimmy Butler couldn't catch up because he hit the ground on the previous play. So yeah, they got back on defense, but they didn't have the awareness to patch up the holes and get the trailer and make up for letting Jimmy get back on the floor. So many times I was disappointed by things like that. Trevor Ariza, given his best,
Mhm.
trying to be tenacious, show defensive intensity, not complaining, not getting in foul trouble, but just not being able to keep up with, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because who can? That guy is like 7 feet tall and he's literally looking like the statues of the Greek, gods. He's so muscular. It's crazy. It is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It is.
Um, One thing I saw in the game that was hilarious, and sorry if this is all over the place. My mind is all over the place.
Yeah. And
We
it's
all
fun.
we all know that this week there were a million games, and Giannis got called for a 10-second free throw violation. Kyle, did you happen to see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, in Milwaukee, the ref, you could see it on his hands. He's counting by his hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Giannis takes the shot, makes the free throw, but they wave it off because it's you only have 10 seconds to shoot your free throws, kids.
I didn't even
Get
know
your
that.
routine under 10 seconds. Yes, you used to be able to leave the 3 point area during your warm up. Russell Westbrook used to walk outside the 3 point line when he was in Oklahoma City, then walk back to the free throw line, finish his wind up and shoot. They had to
Mhm.
put a stop to that because it was taking too damn long. So the Miami Heat fans actually started counting to 10 when Giannis was uh was winding up for his free throw. They even got to 11, but they were counting kind of fast, trying to give him a home court advantage. So
Yeah.
those are all some interesting observations that I saw tonight as far as the Miami side went. Drew Holiday, super solid, like definitely addition by subtraction by taking Eric Bledsoe off the team,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
dead eye shooter. He was so pesky on defense. There were so many times that they had to screen him 2 times just to get him off the ball handler going up the court, getting him off Goran Dragic, getting him off Jimmy Butler trying to dribble upward. 2 screens were necessary to keep him away, and then to discombobulate the Miami offense, or the Milwaukee defense. I mean, you mentioned somebody before the show that you haven't yet brought up. Somebody from Milwaukee that has been scorching hot. Kyle, who did you want to talk about?
Bryn Forbes. I don't know why I have his name written down here and it's kind of a unique name, but for some reason I feel like I can't pronounce it or it's like it's a weird name and it just leaves my head or something. But Bryn Forbes, like especially in game two, like every time Miami would try and string together like a couple baskets, like he would just come down and like hit a wild three like off a handoff,
Mm-hmm.
hand in his face, stuff like that. I mean, he contributed this game too. Uh, he
Dude, hitting
made
threes with confidence.
yeah,
Super
yeah.
fast clip. He looked to be
I know.
shooting as fast as Tyler Hero was shooting last year, or
Yeah,
Duncan Robinson even.
yeah. That's a big thing. Like, and you could just tell, like, after he got hot that game too. You could tell, like, he has a lot of confidence. Like, this team has given him a lot of confidence to shoot the ball and or I mean, not necessarily make plays, but like
But he'll put
finish
the ball
what?
on the
Yeah,
floor. Yeah,
yeah,
he'll
yeah,
drive. You got an
yeah.
and one
He'll
going to the
drive.
rim.
Yeah, he'll drive, he'll do pull-ups, catch and shoots, everything, or all that stuff. And he when role players like that have confidence, that's a great sign for your team going forward into the playoffs. Like because you'll need it. It takes a team to win the finals. Okay, so when you have teammates when you inspire your teammates to have confidence, that's a great sign going forward. Um, the opposite could be said for Miami though. Like for Miami, it's kind of been the opposite. Like other than the first game for Duncan Robinson, this game he had 2 points. All these guards on Miami, they have not been contributing like how expected them to. Other than Dragic, I mean, he didn't perform well this game either. But he's kind of, I mean, he's not the guy that you put a lot of pressure on to score. He's kind of a secondary playmaker. He can throw oops to bam and
Hmm.
do stuff off the pick and roll and stuff. But you
He
expect
comes in
guys,
to
yeah,
kind of like change the pace a little bit, get the pace quickened to get them into their half court sets faster, throw some lobs, and not be afraid.
hmm
And so, yeah, and so I could tell that that was someone that Jimmy was looking to as well to get some offensive workload in. And I have no qualms with his effort or his trying on defense or being afraid to shoot. He was shooting, but even outside of the execution problems that I mentioned, of the lack of wanting to make plays, it seemed, or
hmm
effort from certain players.
hmm
On top of that, oh my God, the Heat couldn't make a shot to save their lives. They had 6 points with 4 minutes left in the first quarter. I believe, outside of Jimmy Butler, the rest of the Heat team shot 20 makes, 50 misses, something along those lines.
Jeez.
At one point during the game. But yeah, you were mentioning Goran Dragic. I'm sorry to have cut you off, but
Oh,
I had to get that out.
no, I was gonna go on to Tyler Hero. He only had 9 points this game. I went back to the other game that he played, game two, I believe. He
Hmm.
only has 4 points in 17 minutes. Uh, that game also Robinson only had 10 points. And then also Kendrick Nunn's been underperforming as well. This game he had 4 points. Last game he only had 9 points as well. Like, and so what gets Miami's offense to pop is not when Jimmy Butler is going off scoring a lot. Uh, it's when Jimmy Butler is able to score, and then when he draws the attention of the defense, he's able to hit those guys.
Hmm.
Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn for open threes and stuff like that. So when those guys aren't going at all, and then Tyler Hero, like he's supposed to be kind of like a creator alongside
Someone
Jimmy
that can
Butler.
do several
Yeah,
things, right?
yeah,
A
uh,
flash in the pan,
yeah, yeah.
squirt
Uh,
into the basket is what someone has said earlier in the year.
yeah, something like that. But no, Tyler Hero is supposed to be one of those guys that can create his own shot and not necessarily like hit the next guy. That's one aspect of his game he still needs to work on, but he just hasn't been able to get it going. And credit to Milwaukee's defense, they've been playing great. Especially with the additions of PJ Tucker, Drew Holiday's been great on defense. Uh, it's been a great team effort on defense
Dude, it
on
was
every
a
side.
pump fake party
Yeah.
for the Heat. The okay, so look, if you wanted, I feel like just comparing the two teams, a lot of guys on the Heat are undersized in comparison to
Hmm.
their Milwaukee counterparts. PJ
Hmm.
Tucker's kind of short. Bryn Forbes
Yeah.
kind of short, but besides that, everyone is above average, I
Yeah.
believe.
Hmm.
Whereas on the other side, Bam is a little smaller for a center.
Hmm.
Jimmy Butler is a stout, average size, wing slash guard, but Goran Dragic a little small. Duncan Robinson doesn't play with physicality because that's not his role.
Yeah.
Tyler
Yeah.
Hero, a little bit short.
And he
Uh,
doesn't play with physicality either because he's pretty skinny.
exactly, exactly. And so when you compare those three to the towering, lumbering giants, you with Giannis, with Brooke Lopez, Drew Holiday is decent size and very strong. Dante DiVincenzo, uh, not Bryn
Hmm.
Forbes, but Bobby Portis. And then we
Yeah.
all know how stout and strong PJ Tucker is with good defensive
Yeah.
instincts, able to take charges. He got a crazy one towards the end of the game to really seal the deal.
Hmm.
When anytime that Miami wanted to put in any kind of life, like they had to stop for him or score to answer. Dude, I was so I watched every second of this game, Kyle,
Hmm.
except for 15 seconds where I skipped 15 seconds of actual game time. And this is the only time I did it. The only reason it's notable is because of this, which I'm about to explain. The only thing I skip when I'm behind in a game is I skip the free throws. I just
Hmm.
add the points. I'm like, okay, there are 86, two free throws. Skip forward 45 seconds. They've added 2 points. They made them both. Great. I don't need to watch that.
Yeah.
But I watched every second of this game except it was fourth quarter, and the Milwaukee Bucks had just got done putting the Heat away again after they had got it down to like 16 points or 17 points. They put it back up to 24-point lead, and it's live action, not a commercial. I'm not skipping it. But Chris Middleton starts dribbling the ball towards the basket, and I instinctively just fast forwarded. I was like, wait, that was live action. Like, why did I skip forward? Because fucking Chris Middleton was automatic the entire game.
Yeah.
And then when I went, like, I didn't even go back. They replayed it. But I skipped forward 15 seconds, and 2 points were added to the score. Like, it was automatic. That guy just
Hmm.
had a skip, dribble, move into the paint, shoot for two, boom, swish. And so subconsciously, I said, "There's no way this dude's gonna miss. He's about to score right now," and he did. And that is the number one praise that I can give Chris Middleton.
Hmm.
Our show has been pretty hard on him in the past, but he is being so far through 3 games exactly who the Milwaukee Bucks wanted him to be when they paid him.
Yeah.
Someone that is not being inefficient, someone that can get to different spots on the floor and score, someone that can be a sharpshooter, catch and shoot, or off the dribble, tall,
Yeah.
rangy, and not a minus on defense. It
And
seems like almost everyone on their starting lineup fits that
and
description. Oh,
and not only that, set up teammates as well.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Like,
So he's kind of got the whole package. That
mhm.
guy, like, is someone that like he's the guy that is frustratingly good in your pickup game when you're gonna go play at the Y or play at the LA Fitness, and you're
Mhm.
like, man, is this guy cold? Like, this guy's tall. I don't want to stick him, but he's just so good at everything. Like, so
Yeah.
frustratingly good with no, a little bit like Tim Duncan, no shit talking, no swagger, He's not out there with all the gear on. He doesn't got the shooting sleeve like me. He doesn't got the goggles like me. Doesn't got the headband like me. But he's just cold, and that's
Mhm.
that's Chris Middleton, bro. Man.
Yeah, yeah. I've been a little harsh on him in the past, but partially because he was on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
anyways,
and you caught the
anyways,
L.
but uh, I got second place. I think I did pretty well.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
no,
uh,
no worries.
uh, but no, like it's also because I know he has the skills to do all those things. Like he's a great ball handler. He's a pretty solid passer. He's probably like the first or second best passer on this team. Uh, he can create his own shot. He can hit catch and shoots. He has great range. He solid finishing. Like he can do all this stuff. And when he has underwhelming games, like I'm just like, man, sometimes you could be a little more aggressive here, like uh just get going off a pick and roll and have something set up for you a little bit, or hit this open guy, or so it's just like it was a little frustrating at times, or at least during this regular season, to watch him and have him underperform because I know how skilled he is, and he just needed to be
Yeah,
a little more confident,
and
in
in
my opinion, sometimes.
years past, it may be that he kind of seemed like he drifted in and out of games, where he'd go
Mhm,
long stretches of a quarter where he's not touching the ball or looking for his own shot, and that could still be the case now, but we're not noticing it because we've got Drew Holiday handling the ball, setting up other teammates, setting up Brim Forbes, and then Giannis takes up a lion's share of the possessions as well. So it could be kind of just a placebo. It's the same.
mhm,
We're just not noticing it um, because Coach Bud has tightened up his rotation a little bit, is not playing Pat Connaughton as much. We're not noticing that these guys are taking shots that Chris Middleton should be taking. They've replaced them with competent players. Drew Holiday, like I said a million times. So it could also be a placebo effect. But props to Coach Bud. In any other year, he'd be playing Jeff Teague, 15 minutes because he feels like he owes him something. Just like he
mhm.
was playing Kyle Korver 38 minutes 2 years ago. Kyle Korver, who was 38 years old at the time and too old to be logging long minutes on a top defense like that. So props to Coach Bud. He really seems to be evolving finally after a couple years, having run into the same problems, not able to adjust around the wall and things of that nature. So I really wanted to say that, and I wanted to lament the Heat just one more time for overpassing, man. Like you,
Mhm.
we mentioned it a million times already. They needed to be more aggressive. Andre Iguodala, Jimmy Butler, um, not that they're the same, but you mentioned Jimmy Butler gets his points setting up others, but he also gets his points where he will let someone drive to the rim, Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, or even Bam Adebayo kind of getting in the pick and roll where he's on the weak side and he'll cut in at the right time off someone else's action. He's not afraid to do the dirty work, set a good screen, roll to the rim himself, or just cut off the weak side. So that's one way that people get involved. He gets a skip pass going, gets a hockey assist. Andre Iguodala never looks for his own shot unless it's like a big moment and he feels like he needs to contribute. He's basically scanning the floor constantly. When he gets the ball, he's ready to fire it off to the next place. That does not work when you're not aggressive. And overpassing like that led to one where Trevor Ariza, like, he drove with the ball run to Andre Iguodala, who drove, and then they passed it to Ariza again, who passed it out to Bielitsa, who had a late appearance after Eric Spoelstra adjustment and almost kind of brought some life back in.
Yeah, yeah, I saw
But
that.
passed to him again, who then pump faked. Props to the Milwaukee defense who made him pump fake, but the time expired, so even the pump fake was late. So even if he
Yeah.
didn't pump fake, it was gonna be expired anyway. But just pump fakes all around, overpassing, and not enough aggression. So ridiculous, and I don't know what they could do to redeem themselves in Game 4. Maybe put up a good fight and get a gentleman sweep and force a Game 5. But if anything,
Yeah.
just get it over with, get the
Mhm.
brooms out, and at the end of the day, looking forward as we eulogize these Miami Heat because I think we can agree they're not getting out of this round.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Uh,
if
uh,
the Bucks get the best of them this year, Miami got the best of the Bucks last year, and then we can look forward to round 3 next year. That's what I kind of think that their eyes are going to be on.
yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but I've been trying to look for this tweet that kind of brings up this point that I was trying to talk uh about how I was talking about earlier, that Milwaukee has kind of changed their mindset and they've gotten a lot of confidence.
Mm.
Uh and it's this tweet right here. The source is from Zach Lowe, but it was just saying that the Bucks were thinking about ducking this first round matchup against Miami
Mhm.
uh, by taking their next to last regular season games, and they had an internal discussion about doing so, and they all uh, decided against it. Like they wanted to smoke, they wanted to go against Miami, they wanted to prove a point, which is I think is great. Uh, and like I was saying earlier, showing their mentality, growing their confidence, showing like, okay, we like we weren't able to adapt this year, but this time we're a better team and we're gonna prove it. So like I said, I think that'll be great for Miami going forward.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
and
And Zach Lowe is a great writer. He's definitely
yeah,
worth watching and subscribing to on ESPN if you can. I
hmm
listen to his podcast all the time. He has great interviews
hmm
with players, coaches, and lots of writers around the NBA. So he's one of my sources for news too. But yeah,
hmm
definitely. They could have ducked it, and we haven't taken the time to actually
hmm
talk about a different series that didn't happen tonight on the podcast, but the Clippers ducked the
Oh
Lakers, and
yeah.
they're running into a buzzsaw at this moment. So I wonder the games that I wish we could cover on a Thursday. Oh, we're gonna try to get a bonus episode in this coming week as well. Props to Kyle for giving us that solo show last week after we had our normal Thursday show.
hmm
But if we could get a Thursday matchup of the Knicks Hawks, I would love to see that if they can stretch that series out to next week. And then if we could get the Mavericks and the Clippers in some fiery game, that would be great to see as well. But just to bring us back to this game, who was your MVP for the Milwaukee Miami matchup?
Uh, it's kind of tough because like especially in this game, like it was such a good all around effort. Like I had
Mhm.
that Giannis only had 17 points. I mean, he had 17 rebounds too, but he only had 17
Ridiculous, yeah.
points. Game high scorer was Chris Middleton with 22. I mean, 22 is solid, but you would think like game high scorer probably have like 29 to like 35 or something like that. So it was really an all around effort. I would say it's Drew Holiday.
Oh, you took the
Uh,
words out of my mouth. Drew Holiday,
yeah,
12 assists,
yeah,
7 for 10 from the field, send people up. Great defense. I already mentioned that they had to screen him multiple times just to get
mhm,
some kind of offensive flow going. So great
mhm,
choice, Kyle. I like the way you
yeah,
think.
mhm, yeah, yeah. It's just he's such an improvement over Eric Bledsoe, uh, and it's really odd to think like why does Eric Bledsoe like underperform so much in the playoffs? But I don't know. It's just an issue he has to, kind of work on. But Drew Holiday is a serious improvement over that, and
For sure.
it also proves that when that trade happened, I think it was Bogdanovich. He was also
Yeah.
supposed to originally go to Milwaukee.
He's on the Hawks, who I
Yeah,
mentioned a
but
second ago.
yeah, yeah, he ended up going to the Hawks, and so I at least for me, I had to be questioning like, oh, like this change is good, but maybe it would have been better if they were able to get Bogdan as well.
Hmm.
But turns out, they've been playing well, without him. Their offense has improved without him. So
For sure, for sure. So,
it's just
man.
it's just it's just tilting to me that we're not getting a series out of this. I had this game like in that solo video I made, with my playoff predictions. I had this
Mhm.
game going to 7. Like I was like, oh, it's going to 7 for sure. But it's damn near a sweep. Like it's if we get a game 5, like oh well. But it's damn near a sweep, and it's so mad. It makes me mad because I'm like, man, like I was really high on Miami during the regular season.
And
Even
they were
though
really hot to end the season too, but
yeah, they were hot to end the season. I still believed in them, even though they were playing bad. At the beginning of the season, they were able to turn their season around. But the Bucks, I mean, if they get to the finals, I won't be too upset. But for right now, I'm like, man, they could be better.
shall we move on to the
Yeah,
next matchup of the night?
yeah,
Who do you want
yeah.
it to be? Your choice, dealer's choice.
Uh, we'll just go in kind of a chronological order. Lakers at
So
Suns, or
next up
I
we have
mean Suns at Lakers. I mean,
yeah,
I have
Los
it
Angeles
backwards.
Lakers taking on the Phoenix Suns and the first playoff game in the Staples Center in front of the Lakers fans since 2013, 2012, 2013, the one of the last Kobe years, and the
Mm.
last win, I think it was 2012, the last time there was a playoff game,
Mm.
and the first win for the Lakers since 2010
Yeah. What? It
because
wasn't 2011.
it was, yeah, because they got swept in 2011, as listeners of of the show probably know, by the then champion Dallas Mavericks. 10-year anniversary, go Mavs! Man, a lot to say about this game. So many swings, so many things to kind of keep an eye on, and little talking points. Cameron Payne. I didn't think that'd be the first name I said, but oh my God, Cameron Payne. What the heck? Oh my God. So we'll get to him in a second. Chris Paul came out without any tape on his shoulder. That tape he had on looked like textured. It looked like
Yeah,
snake
yeah,
skin. It was pretty cool looking than when
yeah,
he had
yeah.
on previous game. Um, Looking like he's more confident dribbling with that right hand.
Hmm.
Um, it came out that he did have some numbness in those fingers, which is what I thought he had when he was losing his dribble, going to his right several times. His shot looked a little bit better, but as the game went on, he kept missing it short, unfortunately, and he ended up
Hmm.
getting benched in terms of, I guess, focusing on his recovery, hoping he can get even better next game. But uh, lots of swings in this game. The Suns made it close several times. The Lakers had a lead for most of the game. LeBron James kind of returned to form in the third quarter. A
Yeah.
lot of center play from Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond, the AD squared. So I
Hmm.
thought that was crazy to watch. Um, a little bit of showboating, front running going on. Did
Yeah.
you notice that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a big
That's
comeback. Devin Booker didn't have a very efficient night. Devin Booker ended up getting ejected. So did
yeah.
Jay
I
Crowder.
thought.
So
Oh, I didn't see Jay Crowder get ejected,
yeah,
but
afterward,
I
it got out of reach, and I guess a double technical got assessed
oh.
quickly, and they ended up
Mhm.
booting him. Um, but crazy, crazy, lots of stuff to talk about on that one. What's the first thing that jumps out of your mind on that one, Kyle?
Uh, just I mean, kind of Devin Booker and Chris Paul, just needing more out of those two. Obviously, you're getting great stuff out of Cameron Payne and DeAndre Ayton.
Oh,
Uh,
for sure, for sure.
Aiden's been great, finishing like he's able to finish like damn near everything. The only thing in my opinion though is like he kind of has to get it off of like either like an offensive rebound or off a pick and roll or something like that to get him close to the basket. I mean, he has been able to hit like a couple post ups, but it's not their main go to kind of thing. But I think since you're getting so much out of Aiton and Cameron Payne, like you need Booker and Chris Paul to be able to take over, and then also Chris Paul is able to set up other guys as well. So uh,
Well, Booker had 30 and 30 in the previous two games. This is the
yeah.
first night that he kind of seemed to have a bit of an off game, and it
Mhm.
was his first road playoff game. He's been at home the previous two. So I
Mhm.
wonder if that had anything to do with
Yeah,
it. He is a young player, so you want to see how he grows and comes back from this. Um, it kind of looked like he never kind of got into a rhythm. A lot of
hmm
his shots came off the rim kind of short or off to the side. And he didn't have a lot of consecutive makes. Didn't have a great shooting night for his standards, 6 for 19.
hmm
DeAndre Ayton, which you mentioned, 11 for 15, did
hmm
a terrific job being big, getting big rebounds, um, taking advantage of when the center was out of position for the Lakers on the pick and roll, and dunking it, biding his time and going up
hmm
strong. Not He had 4 turnovers, but I wouldn't consider him to be loose with the ball.
yeah,
Even in this game, so definitely living up to his number one pick status as far as being a third year player, which is great. Great to see. It's great to see all these young players all over the league turning up. Luka Doncic, Trey Young, even Jokic is only 26.
yeah.
DeAndre Ayton. So really, really, really exciting to see where things are going to go from here. Um, and man, LeBron James, like I mean, I hold him up to a high bar which he has set for himself with the heights that he has achieved with the championships that he has won and the spectacular defeats that he has held on these great teams that he's assembled for himself. Um, Seeing him in the previous two games, you basically had to play him for the drive. You wanted him to drive because his shot was looking immaculate. Like he was
Yeah.
pulling the wins for the Lakers like from the brink of defeat, like just with his mind, not with his body, afraid to take it to the hole, afraid to take contact, not, if he afraid to take unnecessary contact, not
Mhm.
wanting to exacerbate any kind of injury or bring himself out. I think he really wants to survive this series, make it short, 5, 6 games if he can, and try to rest up for the second round and hopefully a long playoff run. But in the third quarter, that dude was carving people up like there's different ways of carving things, right? You can have a rapier, a thin kind of sword that like
Yeah.
that they fence with, or you can have like a fucking butcher knife, and that is what LeBron James is. He just slices through the entire defense. Too big, too strong. Doesn't get up quite as high as he used to,
Mhm.
but when he had Jay Crowder on him and he was backing him up and the entire Lakers bench was like mimicking his movements, Andre Drummond was posting up
Oh
like
yeah.
an imaginary defender as
Yeah.
well. As whack as I think it was on behalf of the bench players, it was fun to watch, fun to see him smiling, getting around Jay Crowder easily, as focused as Jay Crowder
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
Going up, it looked like it was for a slam, but then laying it
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
because he
Reverse layup. Yeah.
didn't quite get all the way there. Um, but
Yeah.
it almost bit him in the ass, Kyle,
Why do you say that?
when they started front
Uh,
running, showboating, getting
Oh
that
yeah.
putback dunk from
Oh
AD, who
yeah.
missed it with the crowd behind him,
Oh uh-huh.
down by 20, and then Chris Paul
The
went out of the game a little bit before that, and then
yeah.
who brought them back within striking distance? Kyle, say his
Campaign.
name,
Cam.
Ratatouille,
Cam.
campaign,
Ratatouille.
dude.
Ratatouille.
That's what I've
Yeah.
been calling him. He looks a little
Can't.
bit like a mouse.
What? Now that I think about it, yeah, he kind of does. But yeah, campaign, yeah, yeah, bro. He's been playing great, and it was kind of fun to see. LeBron kind of and LeBron and AD kind of turning up with Montrezl Harrell and the rest of the Lakers bench. You seen them after some of their plays, after some of their dunks and the layups and finishes and stuff. He would go over to the bench after the play and he started dancing with Montrez. So I thought that was funny to see. But
I think it's funny to see, but it kind of makes it whack for me when it's someone that has not had a single minute in the game, and then Andre Drummond,
yeah,
who has been benched for Marcus Sol / Anthony Davis at the 5. Like, we're
mhm.
not seeing you again, so all you're gonna do is dance because you're not coming back in this game. And now, if it was KCP or Kuzma jamming, guys in their
Mm,
warm
yeah,
ups, ready to
yeah,
play again, that's one thing, I guess. But guys
yeah.
that are just literally, doing as much for the game as I am, that's what makes it whack for me.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I feel you.
but
Uh,
dude, Cameron Payne, we we
yeah,
we kind of shifted him a little bit.
he's
That guy hit 1 3,
mhm,
and then he said, "I'm feeling it." He had another one from the side, from the right corner, and then he let the third one launch, and he was like, kind of like a semi transition off a make or off a miss from the Lakers. Not true transition, but nobody was tightly guarding him. He looked around, and he said, he looked like Carlton Banks in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He said, "I'm shooting it," and he
mhm,
shot it, and it rimmed out. And they ended up getting some free throws on that play. I think DeAndre Ayton got the offensive rebound and had to shoot some free throws. And he was like, "Fuck, man, I almost had that one. It would have been my third three in a
yeah,
row." And he had a I think he had an and one after that. Like, that
yeah,
guy
yeah,
had a 9-0 run by himself,
yeah. He
which
did.
was insane to watch. I said, "Oh my god!" And like, all the times I'd made fun of him in the past flashed before my eyes when he was dancing with Russell Westbrook, when he was on the Bulls not playing, when he was getting cut by the Bulls, when
Mhm.
he was in China, like all these things were flashing before my eyes.
Uh,
So, shouts to campaign.
yeah, he's been playing great. He's been a great like energy guy for them. And he's been playing like real hard. Like he has not been the one to give up at all in this series, even when they're down a lot. He's always fighting. He's always playing hard, running up and down the court, uh, trying to get himself open and make a plays to bring the game back closer. What were you about to say?
I got him confused with Chris Paul. But I was gonna compliment Cameron Payne on his sure-handedness. Only one turnover,
Mhm.
27 minutes, 26 minutes played, pretty much the same amount as Chris Paul. It starts off as his backup, but then ends up taking
Yeah,
over the game for him.
yeah.
But I wanted to give Chris Paul some props for really toughing it out and going
Mhm.
through his injury. and competing harder than anyone has ever competed at anything before in their lives. Like this, if we were chess grandmasters and we were watching chess matches, like Chris Paul would be pulling out like every single strategy from every year. Like, oh, this is the Sicilian defense from 1990 BC. Like that's how much
Yeah.
knowledge Chris Paul would have if he was a chess player. Like you see him getting knocked over by the refs, like trying to blame that on the Lakers. You see him like getting in harm's way, pulling
Hmm.
LeBron's shoulder, which is kind of whack in game
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but literally any competitive edge that you can find, Chris Paul is doing it to try and get these games to go on a longer series so he can try to be healthy again. And like you saw it when he was playing against the Timberwolves last season, he snitched on a guy for having an untucked jersey.
Yeah.
That's the guy that you're dealing with here. So I think LeBron definitely wants to shorten the series to avoid any kind of shenanigans like that. But you gotta admire the heart of a winner, even if
Mm.
he hasn't had a lot of postseason success.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to take the first 2 months of the season off every year so he can time these injuries to happen like in July and
Yeah.
not in June and May.
Hmm.
Personally, but
Yeah, it was really it annoyed me a lot to see him get injured that first game after that first game win. Like I was
mhm.
like seriously, like he's getting hurt again. Like yeah, it gave me flashbacks when he was back in Houston. They really should have won that series against Golden State. Like it's such a missed opportunity. Like it just sucks. And like I was saying, it was giving me flashbacks to then like now I was like, oh, it's gonna happen again. I predicted them to win the series. I think they got to win the series in six,
Mhm.
uh, in order to have a chance. I think if it goes to game seven, the experience of LeBron is just gonna, will them to a win. Like not just LeBron, but the entire Lakers squad. They just came for the finals. Yeah, you know, this Sun squad is a lot younger, and this is the first time in the playoffs for a lot of them. Devin Booker, Aiden, campaign, uh, not why is his name slipping my mind?
You talking about for the Jamal J
Dread,
Crowder?
yeah, Drake Crowder. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot his name. The Globetrotter, playing for so many teams,
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, they're a lot more inexperienced. So I think if they wanted to win the series, they have to win it in six, in my opinion. Uh, but yeah, it just him getting hurt at first. Luckily, it wasn't serious. So he's been able to play. This next game is a must win for them.
yeah,
Hopefully they can
definitely.
pull it off.
It lets them take back home court advantage. And
Yeah.
what are your feelings on the ratio of Jay Crowder being just in the mix all the time, like always having like the being on the brunt of a semi altercation, being angry about something, having that pissed off face that he has. In contrast, Kyle, did we lose you? Well, my question for the listeners, if you guys can chat in, send us a tweet while I wait for Kyle to enter this chat here. My question was the ratio of Jay Crowder altercations, interactions, looking angry about what's going on, being angry, being the recipient of a flagrant foul all the time, in contrast with how productive he is on the court. Um, because tonight, 2 for 9, 22% free throw shooting, or 22% from the floor, 1 for 7 from three, five, one turnover, 2 blocks, 2 steals, which are good, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, and just overall 31 minutes. Overall, just kind of leaving a lot to be desired as far as being on the court, and a far stretch from how productive he was in the bubble, playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm sorry, for the Miami Heat against the Lakers. These very same Lakers in the bubble in the finals last year. He was a force in their 3-2 zone, um, and doesn't seem to be as effective in a different system, but still a valuable player. And you just gotta hope that he catches fire. If you're a Suns fan, the way that he was on fire during the beginning of that bubble run, all the way through the finals, where it kind of dipped off, but still contributing in a lot of ways. Yeah, and so I did just get an update. Kyle let me know that his internet just died and he's trying to get back online. So we'll see what happens with that. And if I had to pick my MVP of this game, and I guess I'll go ahead and pick for Kyle as well. I think I'll have to give it, and we haven't given enough props to everyone on the Lakers. We did have injury issues for Kentavious Caldwell Pope. We had probably three different injury scares for Anthony Davis. He had like a buckled knee, twisted ankle, falling all over the place. Shout out to Anthony Davis, 11 for 22 from the field. Really, really turned it up in the second half after Andre Drummond took the center mantle and kind of had a lot of big offensive rebounds and blocks and putbacks in the first half. Really helped put the game away. 5 turnovers, 7 turnovers for LeBron. A lot of loose lips for the Lakers. No, no assist for Anthony Davis. Getting a lot of things served up on a silver platter. None assist for LeBron. Kentavious Caldwell Pope, a knockdown shooter for the Lakers that a lot of times has a lot of defensive tenacity. He left with what they said was a knee contusion when it looked like he had a twisted ankle or a torn up knee. Dennis Schroeder went down, getting hit in the face. But that's actually who I was going to give my MVP of this game, because when the Suns came back and they got to within, I believe, 9 points in the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes to go, it was Dennis Schroeder who brought the team back, uh, streaking to the rim, change of pace, almost kind of gave them just a different look. And LeBron had some turnovers, Anthony Davis had some turnovers, but Dennis Schroeder is the one that kind of got the lead back up, drew an and one, drew a charge, and so that's definitely why he's invaluable and was their kind of best change of pace guy in their last finals run, and why he's looking to be um, what they would have wanted in their last finals run, replacing Rondo. Why he wanted to be the starter on this team, and why he wants to be the premier face of a franchise. Whether that's right or wrong, well, he's looking forward for the future. So that wraps it up for this particular game. And I did want to move us on to the final one, which was Portland Trail Blazers and the Denver Nuggets. This one was fun to watch. I wish that they wouldn't have scheduled this at a 30-minute stagger from the Laker game. It's really hard to watch both games at the exact same time and cover them both in their true glory. So I'm going to have to pull up the stats and see if what happened matches what I was seeing. Close game, fun to watch. Within 5, 6, 7, 8 points the entire time. Denver kept answering the small burst of scoring from Damian Lillard, from CJ McCollum, from Nurkic putting it in, who unfortunately fouled out near the end of the game and kind of broke it open. Even though it was very close with a scare at the end with some Monte Morris missed free throws, Jokic got a putback. Enes Kanter showed up for a few spot minutes. Carmelo Anthony came up big and a lot of times in the fourth quarter. Just really a fun game. 1-1 prior to that, the Nuggets take the 2-1 series lead, and they're going to try to steal another game in the Moda Center in Portland and see if they can put them away handily. But I kind of doubt that they're going to go down without much of a fight over in Portland. Damian Lillard has range like no other. I'm stating the obvious here, but I wonder how effective my man Facundo Campazzo can continue to be for the Trailblazers, or for the Nuggets guarding the Trailblazers. Only 3 for 9 from the field, 2 for 6 from three, but really keeps the ball moving. Not afraid to rebound well, like for a guard, a lot like Russell Westbrook. Short but feisty. 8 rebounds, 7 defensive boards, really sealing the offensive possession away from the Trailblazers and getting the ball into the action for the Nuggets, either getting it down to Jokic, getting it down to a streaking Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr., and keeping the offense flowing. 8 assists, and it's really, really important that that happens as far as the assists go for Campazzo. I'd say he's pretty much the X factor if you combine him and Aaron Gordon as the kind of a backdoor cut, secret weapon when a lot of attention is on Michael Porter Jr. and of course Nikola Jokic, who takes on so much of the scoring load with Jamal Murray out for the season with his Achilles injury, which man, like so many people had the Nuggets in their sleeper finals picks before that injury happened. But to read some stats off to you guys, Jokic 35 minutes, 12 for 24 uh, from the field, 4 for 7 from three, 57%. Made all his free throws, 8 for 8, and that really speaks to conditioning because everyone knows that free throws get harder and harder as the game goes on to make them. But as I joked about in the past, you can always tell that Jokic is giving it his all because he's got an indicator. His nose gets so red. But even though he's giving it his all, 8 for 8 from the free throw line, 11 boards, 5 assists, only two turnovers for 36 total points. So wild. Austin Rivers ended up being Jokic's two-man game backcourt mate. They'd run the pick and roll, and then they double Jokic to get it out of his hands. And there's no good answer. If you double him, he's going to pass out to the open man. But in this case, it was Rivers getting hot, two quick threes near the end of the game to try to seal the deal. Or if you single team him or just put one defender on him, he's going to put you in the basket, shoot over you in any way that he knows how, or even ways that he just hasn't invented yet, over the right shoulder, over the left shoulder, no matter where he's at. Seems like he's got three different operating spots he can come from. And Nurkic does as good of a job as he can, and he ended up fouling out with 6 fouls with 3 minutes to go. And we have Kyle back. What's up, Kyle? How are you? What
I'm
happened to the
good.
internet?
I pulled a Robin. You know, my McDonald's Wi-Fi. You know, it just cut out on me. Uh,
um, what did the dog to the
no,
router or what?
no. It's been doing that like every couple hours, like
Really?
for some reason, like for the past like couple of weeks. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why it's been doing that either. Like it's really weird. You know, I just upgraded the router and the modem, so I legit have no idea why it's done that. And it's funny because literally just today, I was. I noticed I was like, oh, I didn't have to restart the router this morning. You know, maybe my internet's good. Maybe it's all good now. I don't know what it was, but maybe it's all good now. And it did it again right in the middle of the podcast. So
Wow. I was like, was it me? I was looking like John
yeah, no,
Travolta for a second, but
yeah.
I ended up naming my Lakers MVP
Mm,
or Lakers versus the Suns MVP. I
mhm.
actually gave it to Dennis Schroeder. He's the one
Okay.
that kept the pace going,
Yeah.
got everything going. Did you have someone else that you had in mind?
No, no, well actually no, I had AD because
Yeah,
he
his
was
stat
just
line
getting
was ridiculous.
yeah, he was just getting everything at the rim like everything he wants. Like despite the tough defense, you know, he was getting the and ones and you know, oops,
Hmm.
fast break points, you know, he was doing solid work on defense as well. Like he just looks like unstoppable ever since that first game in the series.
So thank you for telling me that.
Yeah.
I did mention a lot about the Nuggets and the Trailblazers game already. I mentioned
Yeah.
Campazzo, important, a
Mm,
thorny person to have to guard you. Like you don't want this guy
mm,
guarding you if you're
mm.
playing pickup ball. A rock in your shoe, as what people
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Uh, really keeping the assist going while Jokic is focusing on scoring and everything else. When you combine him with Michael Porter Jr. as scoring threats. If you put together Aaron Gordon as a kind of backdoor slashing putback, alley oop catching monster with Campazzo keeping the offense going, I think that's still a well-oiled machine that can take a series against almost anyone. Who knows if it can be multiple in a row?
Mhm.
And then as they look to tie it up, the Trailblazers got some good performances from Damian Lillard, I didn't mention his stats yet. 15 for 31, 48% from the field, 37
Mhm.
points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, only 1 turnover, which is terrific.
Mhm.
CJ, 41 minutes, ton of minutes, 8 for 20, not as good of a night.
Yeah.
Um, Norm Powell came in electric.
Yeah.
So, like, putting so much energy into the building, just like he was when he was a Raptor. And then Nurkic played as good of a defense as he could. And you really noticed that the Nuggets went on a run every time that Nurkic had to go out
He
for foul trouble.
yeah. Uh
Um,
no, in my notes here, like I actually that's mostly what I wrote about. I mostly wrote about Nurkic at first. I mean, I was kind of comparing him to Cantor because of what Robin said before. He was like, oh, the Blazers wouldn't have gotten this far, without Cantor because Nurkic was injured and stuff. But
Mhm.
so he was trying to give him some credit, but I'm trying to take that credit away. I'm like Nurkic. I'm Cantor is not good. Uh, especially when it comes playoff time. Uh, he's not even good coming off the bench. Uh, this game really showed how valuable Nurkic is, just having that big body, and he's just so much more talented. It's not really a controversial thing to say either, because everybody knows it. It's just like his health is the only question, but he's such a big body. He's great. He's probably one of the few people that probably matches up decently well with Jokic.
Mhm.
Um,
And it helps
uh,
that he
yeah,
guarded him for so
yeah,
many years in the beginning of their careers. They were fighting for center minutes, and it was a
yeah.
controversy at
Uh,
times when they'd start Jokic over Nurkic or Nurkic over Jokic, and they ended up having to pick.
when was that?
When they were both in Denver, and they ended up trading him to Portland. Nurkic.
Oh, I didn't know Nurkic was started out in
Kyle,
Denver.
you've been watching the NBA for probably 10 years, but sometimes it feels like you've been watching for two.
Well, anyways, but no, like it just shows like how valuable he is. Like, he improves their offense and their defense. Like,
Hmm.
on defense, he's that great, or he's a solid rim protector.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, because he's like literally one of their only, centers pretty much, because
Hmm.
they don't play like Giles the third or whatever his name is, and
Yeah, you got it.
uh,
Derrick
uh
Jones never comes in for
yeah.
5 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
rarely.
So he's pretty much their only like rim protector, which is unfortunate because it leads to foul troubles, and he fouled out this game, as I caught you saying.
Hmm.
Um, but so that's a little tough, but he like I was saying, he's a solid rim protector. He's a good defensive rebounder. He was putting a lot of effort on the offensive glass too. Like
Hmm.
because that's one of the things Ennis Cantor is known for. Oh, he's really good on the offensive glass and getting putbacks and offensive rebounds and stuff like that. Nurkic is like solid at that as well. Like he's nothing to sneeze at. So when he goes out, you lose a defense with Canner because he gets confused, he gets lost. Uh, his he's not as like well built to guard guys like Jokic, and then also his footwork isn't as good, and he'll
Hmm.
like there's one time, I believe, I don't know if you caught it when Jokic like spun off of Kenner, and Kenner was trying to recover and it ended up just like slapping him in the face. And it's just
You're
like,
right. I forgot about
yeah,
the slap of the face.
yeah, yeah,
Well, you got
uh,
that flagrant one. Hmm.
yeah. Well, when I was pirating
When you were on the high seas.
yeah, when I was on the high seas, it had a little chat, and some people were saying, "Oh, Jokic is flopping and stuff like that." But when they saw the replay, they were like, "Oh, no, no, he's not.
Never
He's
mind.
not.
No,
Yeah, yeah, he's
he
not
got
flopping.
fucking slapped, bro.
Yeah, he got slapped in the face." Uh, but yeah, and then on offense, Canner, he can't make a play for you. You could probably get him in the post, and he could probably give you a couple baskets that way. But he's
Bro,
not
he's
a
built. He's got post moves, but
yeah,
he's got tunnel vision, and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
a super reliability on defense.
Mm,
Unless
mm,
Terry Sauce has done a good job uh, tailoring their defense kind of
mhm.
around his limitations, especially a season ago when he was having to carry the load while Nurkic was recovering from his broken leg. Uh, but but yeah, so you're definitely right.
Yeah, and
And oh, uh huh.
I was gonna say, like, Nurkic is way better ball handler, and like a passer as well. Like he hit Anthony Simons one time for an alley oop, but just like there's at times when Portland can run their offense through Nurkic, like in the high
Hmm.
post or whatnot. Like, and you just can't do the same with Ennis Canner, and it's just like kind of a problem. It's like such a problem when he's such a liability on defense. On top of that, like you'll play him with Melo on defense, which is even more of a defensive liability. So I saw that they changed the lineup a little bit this game. They had Nurkic out there with Melo, so if Melo's not putting that much effort on defense, Nurkic is there to back him up instead of Cantor, which just isn't good on defense. Lack of awareness and things like that. But it just shows how critical Nurkic is, and people have been talking about, oh, maybe they should trade him because he's not there all the time because he's hurt all the time. But it's not only like is he showing why he's valuable. At the time, I thought it would damage their chemistry as well. So because a lot of those guys have a good relationship with Nurkic too. So
Yeah, I'm not sure about. I personally don't know about the chemistry part, but
mm,
just looking at their lineup, like if you're gonna play guys that are solid on offense, but big question marks on defense, Carmelo
mm,
Anthony, Enes
mm,
Kanter, you mentioned already, Damian Lillard, he tries on defense, but
mm,
he's undersized. So is
mm,
CJ McCollum. And then Robert Covington has a reputation of a great defender. He's a great help defender, and he's a great shot blocker. One on one, not as good.
mm,
Nurkic has to do a lot of heavy lifting, and then Norm Powell was a great pickup in my opinion because while Gary Trent Jr. and Norm Powell both have explosive scoring, and maybe Gary Trent has some higher amounts of scoring more often from what we've seen in his shorter career, Norm Powell is more solid on defense. That's for sure. He's got the instincts and the habits that have been instilled in him over a long Toronto Raptors tenure with Nick Nurse and Marc Gasol. So uh, definitely something that I picked up on, and you're right about.
mm.
I wonder, just saying Marc Gasol, I wonder how the Trailblazers would look with him. In addition
No,
to
yeah,
Nurkic, maybe taking Cantor's minutes, but
mm,
that's something for our off-season
yeah,
speculation podcasts.
yeah,
Um, sorry to cut this one short, Kyle, but you missed
yeah,
a long monologue.
yeah, yeah,
Who do
yeah.
you have as your MVP of this particular game?
For this, you have a couple
And I
of
already prefaced that this game was hard to watch because there were two games on at the same time, and we're both
yeah,
human.
yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously the easy answer is Jokic. He just
Of
does
course,
everything.
you're right. It's
But
Jokic. That's all we got to say. What else were you gonna say?
uh, no, I was gonna say maybe like your runner-up guy or your shout out goes to definitely Austin Rivers.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Of
electric.
course, yeah.
hmm
A great pickup.
The third
Because
most tenured Nugget as far as playoff games go, because he's had battles with the Clippers when he was playing for his dad, and then he went to the Rockets and went on a couple of runs with them too. So crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Which is kind of surprising to me. I thought the Nuggets would have had more experience with their team, but uh like great pickup obviously, and it showed this game because you had Will Barton go out, and obviously you had Jamal Murray go out, so you kind of lost some depth at the guard position.
hmm
So Austin Rivers has been a great pickup for them, and he's definitely a hard worker. Yeah, I think
I don't know why the Knicks gave him up, bro. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
Derrick Rose has been terrific in his bench role, but I just do not know why he can't be starting in place of Alfred Payton. Like
Alfred
I don't
Yeah,
get it, bro. Like
yeah.
I'm glad he's on
I
the
don't know.
Nuggets
Yeah,
because I think the Nuggets are great to watch and Jokic is
mm,
great to watch too. But I'm having a lot of fun with that Knicks Hawks series of Trey Young,
uh,
and I just wish Austin Rivers was part of that because he was going off in the beginning at Madison Square Garden, and I feel like he'd make some contributions over there too. But
uh, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and show this
oh,
video
what you
that
got,
that kind
Kyle?
of
Let's see it. Let's see it.
that kind of shows how Austin
Oh,
Rivers is such a
how he's
hard
a gym
worker.
rat.
Yeah, yeah, how he's a gym rat, and it definitely showed tonight.
So, one day to myself? Baby, I'm trying to just get work in. You think getting work in? Yo, what is the issue? Maybe I can't go to practice late for just a couple hours. You don't want to spend the fucking day with me? Also, you have a day off! Yo. You did this on fucking Christmas. Huh? You did this on Christmas.
So for our audio listeners, Kyle brought up a video of, I guess a Snapchat video, or it might have been an Instagram story,
Yeah.
um, of Austin Rivers telling his girlfriend he's going to go practice. I think it was ramping up for the season because the game started on Christmas.
Mhm.
And she's like, "You have a day off. Can't we
Yeah.
like be
Yeah.
together?" And he's like, and then it cuts to him at the gym, and he's
Yeah.
like, "She hot right now. she she mad. I pulled up, but so it made me laugh. So
Yeah, that was
shout
when
out
it
to
was on
Austin
the Knicks
Rivers.
too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. So shout out to Austin Rivers as runner-up MVP of this game. Looking forward. I was hoping that Robin would stop in during partway through this episode, but we'll catch him on next one. He
That
definitely
slacker.
owes the people a bonus episode.
Yeah,
He's
he
gonna show up
does.
on the weekend. That's
Yeah.
I guarantee
Yeah.
an appearance from Robin.
Yeah, for sure. I should try and hop. I should encourage him, give him a little push to hop on an episode, maybe with me or something over the weekend or something. Probably
Yeah.
not this
So.
weekend. Yeah, it's a little tough for me, but
All right, so keep an eye on your feeds. Maybe I'll show up. Just depends on how it goes.
yeah,
I'll be at the Mavericks game on Sunday. So depending on how that series is going, keep an eye out on the Shotcallers Twitter account so you can see some first-hand photos if I get anything cool, some live tweets. So I'll be taking over the thread
mhm.
on that one. Anything else that you want to discuss before we start wrapping this episode up?
No, I just I wish we could have covered Mavs Clipper games already, but
Yeah.
you're going this Sunday to
Yeah,
game
I'll be
4?
there. Yeah, game 4. So
Oh,
there is no negative outcome, Kyle, because one, the Mavericks could be up 3-0 and we see maybe a sweep, or it could be 2-1 and then that game ends up being a 3-1 or
yeah,
a 2-2. So
yeah.
there is no bad outcome. I'm in for any kind of excitement or shenanigans that could come from a team like the Clippers.
Mhm. Yeah, no, we had a lot of fun like watching the last
Oh yeah, Kyle
Clippers
did
game. Yeah,
visit
yeah.
the crib on Tuesday.
Hmm.
Both vaccinated, no worries, guys. We're
Hmm.
being safe. But yeah, we were yelling every time Luca
Yeah,
was scoring anybody.
I know.
I was just yelling too fucking small all
I know
over my living room.
it's crazy. Like Luca was really going at Pat Beverly, and he's like literally shit talking him the whole way down the court. And it's like, man, like I love the playoffs, bro. And Luca's got that such like intense, competitive energy that he's like talking to Pat Bev,
Hmm.
who we all know is like, he loves to talk back too, but
Hmm.
he was quiet. He
Yep.
was quiet. He
Dude, it
was
was
not
just
talking back.
so fun to watch. So I saw a missed switch. Like Patrick Beverly did not switch onto Luca on a
Mhm.
walk up three, and Kawhi was like, "What the fuck? We need to be
Yeah,
switching this."
yeah.
So Kawhi tried to block it from like
Mhm.
10 feet away, like
Yeah.
just instincts, give it a try. But he's got Max Kleber on a pick in front of him, and he's still trying to block that shot. And Luca was just like, "Oh, you're not gonna switch on to me? Cool, I'll take this three."
Mhm.
And then the other times, like they're obviously hunting
Mhm.
Patrick Beverly.
Yeah.
So he's calling up whoever Patrick Beverly's on for the switch. And they give it up easy. No
Mhm.
resistance. Like you
Yeah.
could fight and try to keep Patrick Beverly in a safe place, but they don't. They give it
Mhm.
up. No resistance. And so Patrick
Yeah.
Beverly, he's a dog, bro. He's like, come on, I want this. Let's
Mhm.
do it. And then Luca just scores on it, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. That's kind of been a problem with the Clippers defense. They just switch everything too easily. They want Kawhi or PG on Luca most of the time, but every time they set a screen, like they switch with Pat Beverly or he's also been taking advantage of the matchup against Zubac too.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. And there's one thing if you have life-size defenders like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, where you can easily switch and you're not losing anything. But if you got to protect your guys at some point,
yeah.
especially if you don't have a center that's going to have your backbone of the defense to call out switches and mismatches. You need to be on a string up and down. And you would think that someone that was defensive player of the year like Kawhi Leonard, someone that came from a system of cohesive defense like the Spurs and the Raptors, would be more on top of that. But it kind of seems as though Kawhi Leonard is, more
Hmm.
into letting the coach handle that. And is that something that Tyronn Lue is equipped to do when he hasn't had a top defense any stop along the way in his finals runs because
Hmm.
they were offensive powerhouses all the way through? You look at a team just to bring it full circle back to Miami against the Lakers and LeBron James. they had a 2-2-1 zone where they had their weakest defenders in the rear corners, Tyler Hero and Goran Dragic all the way in the back. And then in the middle of the zone, you had Jay Crowder and Jimmy Butler, or Jimmy Butler and Andre Iguodala, um, at the point of it, kind of in the middle, able to flex towards the back, or at the point of attack, try to swallow things up and build the wall against Giannis or against LeBron and the Lakers. And then in the front, they had Kendrick Nunn or whoever it might have been. But just in the game today, Drew Holiday slashed right through it. You attack that zone by getting in the middle, either shooting over it and making people collapse to you outside, or cutting through and getting a pass inside like Drew Holiday did and got a pass in from Giannis. But and then they switched to a 3-2 zone in the fourth quarter, which didn't help too much, but it gave them a different look. And then you saw the Clippers throw different defenders at Luka, but that's not working. I wonder how many defensive schemes they have in their pocket, and what we might see in Game 3 or Game 4. Is Serge Ibaka going to play more? He's been kind of hurt. He looked pretty good for a few minutes, but only played about 10. So lots of questions that will be answered this weekend. If the Mavericks come out with a sweep, you might see
definitely hear about it from us.
A live Instagram story of drunk Rich, because I'm not working the next day. I'll tell you that much. So we'll see what happens with that one. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. And if you guys are catching this recorded or on a YouTube video after the fact, we are going live now with our new platform. So we're going to try to do a better job of informing you guys when that's happening in the moment, tweeting it out. I think Kyle might have. Are you still there, Kyle? Okay, I thought Kyle had broken up.
No.
Yeah, so we're going to do a better job of tweeting that out. But basically on Thursdays for sure, after the games, we're going to go live so you can tune in and talk with us. And any other surprise episodes, we're going to tweet it out so you can stay in the know. But the number one way to know when we're going live is by hitting that notification bell on YouTube. So please make sure you're subscribed. Please like the video if you like it, and let everyone else know about the rest of the social media. Kyle, if you would.
I was taking a picture to share.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you wanted me to do the outro?
Yes, I wanted you to tell about social media, Kyle.
As you can see right here at the bottom of our beautiful overlay here, thanks to StreamYards. Shout out StreamYards, giving us a great platform to stream on, upped our production value by a solid amount. You can follow us here on Twitter and Instagram at Shotcallers Show. Then obviously, you can find us almost everywhere. You can get podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker, and Pocket Cast.
I wonder if the listeners can read better than you, Kyle. Oh my God. Thank you guys for listening. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, stay in the know of all our updates. We are the Shotcallers. We love NBA basketball. I have been up since 6 in the morning, watched 3 games tonight, no naps, and I'm probably not going to sleep right now, but we'll see. For Kyle, I am Rich. We miss Robin. We are the Shotcallers. We will catch you guys next time.